your facilitator of this program for the rest of the week, and we're going to be talking about achieving our goals. If you have goals, which everybody should, go ahead and type a capital G in our chat box and let us know that you're out there in the universe and that you have goals, that we are ready for our setup, we are ready for our comeback, and we have things and we are determined to make them happen. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and put a capital G in the chat box. If you missed yesterday's session, feel free to go to the CDPD YouTube page, and there you're going to find yesterday's content. But you're also going to find other classes that we have had in the group with some very talented teachers, trainers, coaches. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and give our founder, Net, a shout out. So if you are in the chat box, go ahead and give her some love. Put some hearts down there for her. I think we can do hearts here on Zoom, but just show Net some love. We just want to say thank you for creating this group, this safe space where we can learn, grow, and share and become the people that we're supposed to be, the better version of ourselves, right? Also, don't forget, guys, if you have any questions or comments about today's lesson or about goals in general, don't forget to just put them down in the chat box as well, because we will circle back around to them after we finish with the slides. So let's go ahead and dive in today. Yesterday, we were talking about deciding what we want, uncovering the cost, and we also got to think about if we were willing to actually pay down those costs. I'm wondering if any of you had any aha moments though yesterday. Like, did any of you have any goals that you thought you wanted, but then you decided after you calculated the cost that maybe you wanted to take a new direction or even a different direction, you know? And if that's so, it's okay. It's good to make the decisions up front right now, because you don't want to waste your time spending time, money, or some of the other costs that we talked about on something that you just simply do not want bad enough. I have been there. So in day 2, we are going to be looking at the benefits of having systems versus goals. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. I'm going to switch the slide. So today's lesson talks about why goal setting does not work. Now, typically, guys, when people think about goal setting, they think about setting a goal that they're going to achieve by a specific time. Then they're going to keep on working on that goal until they reach that specific target. I don't think that works well for a lot of people. That's just my opinion. It definitely doesn't work well for me all the time. But let me explain why. Because when you have an endpoint, when you only have an endpoint in mind, the only time you truly really feel accomplished is when you actually reach your goal. Until then, you start to feel this tension in your back and your neck, wherever you feel tension, right? And then you have a sense of just not going anywhere as it relates to your goal. Now, those feelings, when they do come, they can lead to being discouraged. They can lead to having burnout. I don't know if anybody ever suffers from burnout. I suffer from burnout a lot if I do not watch myself. If you suffer from burnout or have experienced burnout, put a capital B. I would love to talk to you about that afterwards and, brainstorm some ideas of how we can get through that. But yeah, you can be discouraged, you can get burnout, especially if you have one of those goals where it's going to take you some time. So that leads us into our productivity point for today. So today's productivity point, rather than picking a specific goal, is so much easier to create systems instead. I'm going to read that again. And maybe take a picture of this screen, because you're going to have to remind yourself of this. So rather than picking a specific goal, it's much easier to create systems in your life instead. So here's how it works. So yesterday we talked about making sure we had a goal in mind, and we talked about calculating the cost of that goal. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to be able to create a system of small, easily repeatable actions. Small, easily repeatable actions that's going to constantly push us towards our goal. Now, I like to think of systems as what I will use to create the change that I'm looking for. For example, I don't know about you guys. Has anybody ever heard or used Mary Kay? If you guys have, put MK in the chat box so I'll know, but I hope I'm not the only person that's heard of Mary Kay. But I remember when I was a kid, maybe like 13, 14, just coming into womanhood when I was a teenager, right? My mom used to buy us these facial care systems. It used to come in like a 4-step process, right? You have the cleanser, you would have the toner, you would have the mask, and you would have a moisturizer. Well, that is one type of a system that was going to get me to a goal of having clearer skin, especially as a teenager, right? Let's give another example. Let's say you want to increase your social media following to maybe 10,000 followers, right? Maybe you would use a social media calendar as your system, because that system will help you detail when you post engaging content that's going to basically just make people want to follow you on social media. Another example is, let's just say you guys wanted to write a 40,000 page book. Like, I personally think that's a big goal. It's an awesome goal. It's a big goal, but it can also be kind of overwhelming, right? Until you create a system for yourself. So a simple system for that big goal would maybe to be write 500 pages, or I'm sorry, 500, can't write 500 pages a day, but you can write 500 words per day, right? And that's about it. You can probably do 500 words in little as a half an hour to an hour, depending on, you know, what your writing speed is. But if you followed that system, you would definitely complete your book in only 80 days. And that's shy of 3 months. That's only 2.5 months. So imagine having a book written in 2.5 months. That is the power of a system. It's small, repeatable actions that lead to huge results. So I know what you guys are asking. You're asking for, what are our action steps for this, Jay, so we can get going on this, right? I got you covered. So we already know what we want and what the cost is. So now we have to create a system. The one thing I want you to know is that this system that you create, find, buy, whatever, you need a system. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be repeatable. It doesn't have to be complicated. It shouldn't be hard. It just needs to be something that you can repeat. So for example, I want to get in shape. So I have to create a small system for exercising every day. So like I was sharing yesterday, I do HIIT exercises every night between 8 and 9, right before I take a hot shower and get in the bed. That is something, and that is a time where I know that that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. That is my system, right? Maybe you can purchase exercise videos. Maybe that's your system that you're going to use on a daily basis. Some of us, we want to have deeper relationships. We want to form deeper relationships. So maybe we create a system to where we can start having meaningful one-on-one conversations with new people every week. So maybe you develop a system where you have virtual coffees with people, or you develop a system where you develop, 30-minute sessions or martini sessions. I'm down for a martini session, right? If you want to lose weight, maybe you want to create a system for cutting down your calories, maybe cutting out a small amount of calories on a daily basis. So those systems that I just mentioned, they're not complicated at all. And the good thing about a system is that you can find what works for you. And what works for Jay might not work for you, and vice versa. So that's what we're working on tonight, guys. Once you determine what you're going to use as a system, tomorrow is going to be really good, because I'm going to show you how you can level up. And I know we all like to level up, and we're going to get some superpower behind each of these goals that we're putting into place. And I'm going to do that because we're going to be diving into the topic of programming our habits. Tomorrow's session, you definitely don't want to miss, because day 2 and day 3, put them together. I'm telling you, you're going to have wings, right? So that's it for tonight. What I'm about to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn off the slides, and then we're going to jump into the comments and see if we have any questions. So, all right. I'm going to open up my chat. All right, we got Rhonda in the house, right? Rhonda put a big G. She has goals. Hey, Oz, that's my girl from Fort Lauderdale. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Oz, for joining. Oz has goals. Danette has goals. Sending much love to Net. Yes, we love our girl, Net. She is amazing. Yes, Net says thank you. Rhonda, no, I didn't change my mind off, and I did do some writing this morning. Good for you. Good for you, Rhonda. Let's get that system going. Let's make it repeatable. And Danette said she has heard of Mary Kay. Rhonda's heard of Mary Kay. She said, I just ordered something today to support a member. That's amazing. And then you're excited about programming the habits. Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to hear, you guys, did you find it difficult last night to talk about the cost of your goals or what you want to achieve? How did we do on that? Because the last time I ran this course, we had some people that were really struggling. Let's see, Ned says, can you have multiple systems running at one time for multiple goals? Absolutely. Absolutely, Ned. That's a really good question. I have goals. I have systems for each and every one of my goals. For example, as we were talking about earlier, we all know that I'm on a weight loss journey. So my goal of losing weight has a system. I have a system of exercise, system of preparing my food, and I also have a system of intermittent fasting. So I have 3 systems down for one goal, 3 things that I'm working on, working towards as far as a system goes for one particular goal. Then I have systems for my business. Then I have systems for my 9 to 5. So one thing about me is I function better when I have a process and when I have a system. I love systems and processes. I think systems and processes are sexy, right? That's just me. I'm weird, I know, but I function better because I don't like to think about what I have to do. And I don't want to give it away or what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, but tomorrow is going to be eye-opening for us, especially if you have multiple goals with multiple systems. Let's see. No, the cost of my goals is just working out my time management. Each day I am improving. Amen. And I like to try the intermittent. Yes. Okay. Intermittent fasting is work. I do the 16-8. That is my system. There's different systems of intermittent fasting. You can look them up on YouTube, but I highly recommend the 16-8, where you eat all of your calories within an 8-hour period, and then you fast for 16 hours. Systems work. They are very sexy. Absolutely. I can't wait. I think that's going to be something that Net posts up as my quote. Everybody's going to be like, what is Jay talking about, right? No, systems and processes, they are sexy. So yeah, absolutely, Rhonda. Absolutely. So I like when we were talking earlier about the different types of systems, so let me just clarify. A system can be something that you buy. You know, there's a lot of people that sell systems out there. For example, we were talking about the social media. There might be some people that's selling social media calendars or social media planners. That is their system that they are giving to you, so that way you can implement that in reaching your goal. You can also design your own system. What I like to do is I like to research a little bit, play around a little bit in some Facebook groups, go on YouTube, see what other people are talking about, what other people are doing. And I kind of mesh what works for me, what works for my lifestyle, and I design a system like that. The one thing I will tell you I do struggle with is I struggle with coming up, like I'm not a visionary type of person. I'm great at executing, but the vision is what I lack. So what I do is I go on and I just morph myself into what other people are doing, and I create my own system versus coming up with it on my own. So you just have to be creative and go with the flow. Net said, that's me, I'm not a visionary. Yeah, you know, Net, the reason why you can execute and you can implement. Exactly. Now, I have a girlfriend, and I never really understood it until, you know, we started working together. She is a great visionary. She comes up with great ideas. The good thing about her is that she can communicate that vision, right? Me, once she communicates that vision, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what I need to do in order to make that vision come true. That is a skill set. And a lot of people who are visionaries, they look at us like, they think we're like, we work magic, which kind of we do, right? We work magic because they really do not know how to make their visions come to life. So if you are that type of person where you are a visionary, connect with somebody that's big on execution, and likewise, and you will see, especially if you get you an accountability partner and you guys are kind of opposite in that factor, right? I'm telling you, the stars will collide. You guys are going to see big, explosive things happen when you come together. So always look for the opposite as it relates to someone who can execute versus someone who's a visionary, right? Oz is a visionary. Really, Oz? Oh my God, I cannot wait to connect offline. Yes, Oz, that's great. Me and you are going to get along fabulous, because you just tell me what it is, girl, and I can help you put it together. I can give you the systems and the processes and tell you how everything is going to work and do all of the research for you. Yes. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Does anybody have any other questions or anything that I can answer for you guys as it relates to goals? Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you guys don't have anything else, we'll go ahead and we'll close it out. It's about that time anyway. Feel free to connect with me offline. We will be back tomorrow at 7 o'clock, and we'll see what technology works out for us or does not work out for us tomorrow. But regardless, we will be here and you will be getting this information tomorrow. Awesome. Oh, Rhonda says, how long did it take you to master the art of mastering goal achievements? Rhonda, what I will say is I'm not a master. I never, it's a journey. I can't really say, it didn't really start to make sense to me until I started to have some small wins under my belt. Once I started to have some small wins, thank you. Once I started to have some small wins, I was able to tweak things for myself. So what happened is back in 2008 when I got into, or 2007 when I first came into medical sales, they actually kind of gave me a system. They said, okay, Jay, we need you to talk to 10 doctors every day. And out of those 10 doctors, if you just keep doing that for a whole quarter, you're going to make a lot of money. Right? And I'm like, okay, so all I got to do is go and talk to 10 doctors every day, build relationships with them. And sure enough, within 3 months, I had made over $5,000, just like that, just from them telling me that this was the system I needed to follow. And so the next month I was like, well, hold on, what if I see 15 doctors a day? Right? And I started to learn how to tweak the systems. And then that's when I got addicted to running systems for my job. So I'm like, oh, I can use this to my advantage. If I want to make this amount of money, all I have to do is see this amount of people. And so once I learned that and I saw the results on the monetary side, I started to want to apply that to everything. And even to my business, like I love to have systems, even to the way I'm just going to be honest. Like I have a system for when I wake up. I have a system for when I first get to work. I have a system for when I leave work. I have a system for when I'm working my business. I have a system for cleaning my house, right? I just love systems. They just work for me. And it gives me the idea of, you know, if I miss a step, because I have that system in place, I can go back and I can easily fix it, and it's repeatable and it's tweakable. And tomorrow I just released a freebie on my blog site. Tomorrow what I'll do is I'll post a link to that, so that way you can get the freebie, because that freebie is talking about habits and systems and which ones you need to have in your life and which ones the most successful people have in their life in order to make their life run the way that it needs to be ran. Am I very organized? Well, it's so funny. I went on a job interview about 10 years ago and they asked me if I was organized, and I was like, no, I mean, I'm okay with it. And they were like, well, tell me something that you organize. I said, well, my closet is organized by the type of garment it is. Then it's organized, like my long sleeve shirts are organized by color, and then you have the mid sleeve shirt and they're organized by color, and then you have my t-shirts over here, and then you have these kind of pants over here, short pants, long pants, and my shoes are. And he says, yeah, he's like, you're a little extra with it. And here I am saying, no, I don't think I'm that organized, right? But some people would say that I'm pretty organized. I don't function well in clutter, but I'm not that type of person where I'm judgmental. People don't agree with having systems in a sense. You do have some people that are very quick to judge. I don't judge. I just know what works for me, and it's simple. And having systems and having habits, I don't have to think about it, and we'll talk about this a little bit more tomorrow, but when you have systems and habits in place, you don't have to waste your decision-making skills on basic, ordinary stuff. You only have so much power in a day to make good decisions. I want to use my decision-making power on making money, not what I'm going to wear, not the jewelry not the lipstick I'm going to. I don't have time for that. I need to make good decisions as it relates to the money. It says organizing is great. Systems, agendas, schedules help you make the most of your time. Absolutely, Rhonda. I even have planners. I can't even tell you how many planner systems I have, schedules I like to keep. Absolutely. And it says improves time management. Yeah, it's all about managing time. Listen, time is the most valuable, because some people will say it's money, but if you lose your money, you can always replace it. Time is something that you cannot replace. And so, I always make a habit. I don't like people wasting my time at all. Like now that I'm a little out. That's why you have been able to achieve success. No, it's time is money. Yeah, exactly. Time is money. And learning how to tweak your systems to where it will work for you, you will know how to play around with it. You can't change the time, but you can change the output. You can change what it is that you're putting into your time in order to affect the results that you want. And you're right, Rhonda. No, you cannot get time back at all. You cannot. That's why I'm very anal about my time. And I think we all should be that way. But what I will say is that some people are anal about their time as it relates to other people. But what about what we do with our time, right? We spend so much time on social media. We spend so much time on TV. We even spend time on goals that we realize that we don't even want to really even pay the price to really get. So we're wasting time on something that we're never going to achieve because we're not willing to put in the effort or the cost. We're not willing to pay the cost. Yeah, that's deep. I'm telling you, we have to be mindful of our time. This is something that we should all take seriously, and don't let you be the reason that you're wasting time. Just don't let it happen. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable when it comes to your time, especially for work. When it's work, do your work. There's also something else out there called block schedule, a block calendar that works really well. And we can talk a little bit more about that too. That helps stay focused. I don't know if you guys are like me, but I sometimes have a problem staying focused. Rhonda says, I know during this pandemic, we are learning to use our time wisely. You're not anal. You have a preferred manner in which you choose to do things. I know. I'm just joking when I call myself anal. And I apologize. I probably shouldn't even be using that word in this presentation, but it's the word that I use when I feel like something is just so strict, right? But I do have a preferred manner. I like to do what works for me, and I know what works for me, and keep it real. It's all good. Yeah, I'm just keeping it real, right? Like that's just how I see it. But yeah, we do have to pay attention to the time that we're putting into things, and pay attention to the things that are stealing our time. Like get away from those time wasters. Put your phone in another room. If it's about, working on your business, if it has nothing to do with social media, why are you on social media, right? One of the things I had to do, I do a lot of research, right? I used to sit there and I would research on my phone. I would see all of the notifications come through. And then I would get so enthralled in just looking at the notifications or following up on the notifications. It's stealing time from my research. So no, I have to put the phone away when I'm doing the research. Research is done on the computer. Most people think being organized is anal, but being strict and disciplined is how you make those power moves. Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the most successful people, guys, they are very disciplined. They have habits. And when you break it down, they might not even think that they're being disciplined because these things just come innately to them, right? And so for them, it's easy. For me, my morning routine, I remember I was telling my girlfriend all the things that I used to do before a certain time. She'd be like, oh my God, you're crazy. Like, why do you do that? She almost tried to make me feel bad. Like, you don't have to wake up that early. You don't have to do all that stuff. Like, why don't you just relax, right? But for me, it wasn't that big of a deal because it was something that I trained myself to do. It was something that needed to happen in order for me to get done what I really needed to get done. One of the things I decided, one of my goals at one point, like 3 years ago, before I became a morning person, was to put myself first. Before I went on anybody's job, there were certain things that I wanted to get done in my life because I wasn't taking care of me. I forgot all about me. I was more concerned about doing other things for other people that I was getting lost. I was lost in the sauce. And I said, you know what? I can't do that anymore. I can't do it. So I had to create a system for myself, a morning system, making sure that I read my Bible, right? That's important to me. So every morning at 7 o'clock, that's what I'm doing, right? Then I wanted to have playtime, right? I love to play in makeup. So I spend 30 minutes where I could just do that, go into my makeup room, because that is for me. It makes me happy. It makes me have a great day. At one point I was doing my exercise in the morning, and then I found out for me at nighttime, it's easier for me to do that because exercise, I don't know about you guys, but it makes me sleep really good. So I changed my routine, my exercise at night. So you can do whatever works for you. Says, let's see. Rhonda says she gets lost in research, setting up schedules now for, girl, yes, have a schedule. Have a schedule. If you need to talk about planners, let me know because I pretty much tried them all. Oz gets lost in research. I hope, yes. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I can't wait to connect with Oz. We're going to be meeting up here pretty soon. Rhonda says she's not a go-getter. I have had friends criticize me about having strong work ethics, but I love who I am. Yeah, no, they shouldn't criticize you about it, but yeah, sometimes people, they just don't like to see when things are things are working for you. You have those friendly haters out there, if that's even such a thing, or they just, because they're not doing it, they think you're doing it too much, right? You have to do what works for you. And they are going to do what works for them. My girlfriend that said that, she's about to retire. So she is at the point where she's, worked all of her good years. She's not trying to aspire to do anything more professionally other than just retire. Me, I have a good 25 years left. I can't afford to just sit back and let time pass me by. So we're at two different places in our life. So you have to kind of take the good for what it is, Not changing haters, frenemies. Oh yeah, frenemies. Yeah, I feel you on that. But yeah, guys, goals are a good way to help you stay on track. This system of goal setting, goal achieving that we're talking about, it really is just to give you a framework. I really hope that you can take this information and you can morph it into something that really works for you, because it's not just about setting goals. It's really about achieving goals. And we can't just achieve goals just by putting something on our vision board, by putting a sticky note up on our calendar. We have to make it work. We have to have systems in place to make those goals work out. That's how goals are achieved. All right, so with that said, I'm going to see you guys back here tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow is going to be our superpower day, and we are going to be talking about programming our habits, programming our days. And with that being said, we'll see you back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jay. Good night.